And welcome to HS Game Time Live pregame. Kyle Glazer, I'm Pep Fernandez, and everybody knows the guy in the middle here because he's got the mustache back. I didn't know who you were at first, Coach, but you got the mustache back.
No more incognito. We're out here to get it.
All right, head coach Jim Walker from Redlands. His Terriers taking on Miller in a Thursday night special. And Coach, 2-4 on the season, but a big win last week against Eisenhower. How does the team look going forward right now?
Well, we were really young and making a lot of mistakes early in the season, and we got some guys back from injuries, and that really helped us. That really got us kind of going, and defense really played well. Offense has a way to go yet, but we'll take the win, 15-14.
When you guys started 0-3, what did you tell your team? Because it's easy to get discouraged after such a bad start.
Don't worry about it. It's okay if we're 0-3. That's what you have to tell them at that point, And but you just have to try to get better every week, And that's what we tried to do. We tried to accomplish that. This is a young football team with a lot of new guys, and some of the guys that were playing for us, this was the first varsity experience. So we got better, and that's a credit to the coaching staff and our players believing in them.
Some tough games going forward. And Redlands East Valley still on the schedule. That's a big one, obviously, in the city of Redlands. Yeah, Ukaipa.
Yeah.
I mean, so still going forward. Some big games still to be played for the Terriers.
Yeah, I tell you this. In fact, even here, Miller's always played us tough here. And so I think 2 years ago we went 28-27. We were down by 20 at half, and ended up coming back and winning it. Yeah, we've got Cajon next week. They're a physical ball club, with that double wing stuff that they run, and of course Redlands East Valley for the smudge pot, and Kurt Brook has his guys primed and pumped. They're getting better every week now. They're getting more healthy. And then Ukaipa's, beat us 2 years in a row. So we've got our work cut out for us. This, that was just one win. One win don't get you to the playoffs.
Coach Zach Lindsay has really gotten better and better as a running back each week. He had a crucial, essentially the game-winning 2-point conversion last week. How has he progressed as a running back?
Well, you know what? What's kind of nice, also gone both ways for us. He's also starting inside for us. So yeah, he's a pound and ground guy.
Does Air Force like him as a fullback?
He's got that big ground, low to the center of gravity guy, and Baltimore
Ravens,
Colts.
But you look younger with the mustache, and that's what counts.
I'm pretty GQ right now. We got it back, and I've tried not to trim it, because.
Sounds good.
Thanks, guys.
Since 1992 as the head coach of Redlands.
I didn't know that guy either.
200 for his entire career. He's averaging 7 wins or so a season. You can't do that unless you're a smart football guy, but also personable. We see a lot of coaches now, they have to deal with boosters, they have to deal with parents, they have to deal with all sorts of off-the-field distractions, media folk, and Jim Walker is really one of the best. I think,
from the Clovis Cougars, a strong football powerhouse up in the San Joaquin Valley, so he's used to winning. I'm sure it's tough for him, for the Rebels, to be winless so far at this point in the season.
Before the season, he knew that there's a lot of things, new head coach, a lot of new guys. They switched quarterbacks. Michael Watkins was their quarterback last year. Now it's Chris Valenzuela. I think he took this job understanding that he was probably in year one of a 3 or 4 year rebuild. Miller, they're 0-6. Half those losses, they've been within a touchdown, so it's not like they're getting blown out every game. There's something to build off of. Chris Valenzuela is a good quarterback. Michael Watkins, they can do a little bit of everything. Run, throw, pass. Deshaun Faison's a nice junior wide receiver. So, there's some athletes, but at the same time, Miller's building.
Now, going back to last week, we talked a little bit about that big win for Redlands against Eisenhower. This is an Eagles team that won a share of the Citrus Belt League Championship last season. Yes, Vinny Fazio's gone, but the Eagles had got off to a great start. A little surprising for Redlands, or do you think maybe they're just finding their pace at this point in the season?
We talked about this, and Coach Walker hit on it. Redlands had so many transfers coming in, so they had so many guys learning the playbook, starting quarterback, leading receiver. I think they had 11 guys transfer in from Redlands East Valley, and then a couple other guys coming from other places to 14 points. Ike is loaded with playmakers. I still say I think Eisenhower has the most playmakers on the offensive side of the ball of any team in the Citrus Belt League. Redlands.
Step off camera real quick. We're going to zoom in on the warm-ups, but do some name dropping. Tell me about some of those Rev kids who came over, most notably Marcus Durham and the quarterback Cody Whitaker.
Yeah, Cody Whitaker came over. He's a big kid. He's a weapon. He's got speed. He's not the biggest guy in the world, but he finds the open field and makes things happen. Then you have Tracy Cawley. Tracy Cawley is the guy that I think a lot of people are going to hear about in future years. He's a junior cornerback wide receiver, but he's as fast as they come. Right now, Redlands is using him a couple different ways, but I think he's going to be the guy to look for in the future. All over the field, there's ex-Rev guys and transfers from other schools in general, and they're just now finding their way here at RHS.
Now we're looking at them warming up against the Rebels. 2-4 on the season, but they did open Citrus Belt League with a big win against Eisenhower. They've got some talent. As Coach said, they're young. They needed some time to kind of put this thing together. Plus the transfers, that didn't help. That it takes more time to kind of accelerates that learning curve for you, you know, learning on the job. So I don't know. I mean, Redlands going forward, could they be a contender in the CBL at this point?
You know, I want to see how they play tonight because, to be honest, Miller is a team that they're such in a rebuilding mode. Redlands not only should win, but I want to see how they win. Yucaipa beat Miller 42-6 last week. I want to see if Redlands can approach that margin of victory. I think if Redlands comes out and they struggle and they're not able to generate any sort of consistent ball movement and they win, but it's, you know, 17-10 or 21-13, that's not going to tell me anything about Redlands and whether or not they're a contender. If they come out and do their job and put up the 35-40 points they probably should put up against Miller, that'll let me know where they are in terms of the Citrus Belt League race. There's still a lot of work to be done. I still think that Redlands, East Valley, Yucaipa are a step ahead of them, but we'll see how they play tonight. We'll know a lot more about RHS after tonight's game than we did coming in.
Well, what a class act. Here we are just moments before kickoff, and Jim Walker comes over here joking around. I think the mustache looks good on him. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. You know, some people can pull off the mustache. I've never tried. I don't. That thing might be coming out, 3D style here in a couple.
That I think most people in the number, like you said, Yucaipa's beaten them 2 years in a row,
and you can't really sense it from the camera. It's pretty windy out here tonight, so we'll see how that affects things. I mean, I'd say it's, I don't know, at certain points it's getting up to 20, 25. It's pretty cold, so we'll see if that'll affect the game at all. Whether players' endurance is shaking a little bit, the kicking game, little things like that often come into play, especially in league play. It's also a short week for both teams.
Yeah, it's the only Thursday night game that we're covering here at HS Game Time. So see, that's the beauty of Thursday night games. You're guaranteed coverage, right? I mean, we're going to be there.
Absolutely.
And it's the only game that we're covering. So Kyle will have the story, and we'll have video highlights on HS Game Time a little bit later tonight. And tomorrow night, you're going to keep it in the Citrus Belt League as you have Redlands, East Valley, and Yucaipa.
I do, and once again, as we talked about on the Blitz show, that might be a de facto CBL championship game, but we'll see. Ike, I think, is still to be heard from despite their loss last week, and RHS, we'll see after tonight, how for real they are. Like I said, 42-6 was the Yucaipa score. Let's see how close RHS gets to that score, because that'll let us know where they're at.
Do you like to play that game, the common opponent? Sometimes it plays into your favor in terms of, okay, that makes sense, and then sometimes you look at competing scores and you're like, how did that happen?
I think that once you're talking about league play, I like it a little bit more, and I like it to see, rather than say definitively, oh, X team's going to win or X team's going to lose, I like to see the margin of victory more than anything else, because I think that does have an impact and an effect.
All right, so we'll see what Redlands does against Miller tonight in Citrus Belt League play as the Terriers try to improve to 2-0, and Miller trying to get their first win of the season. Thank you for joining us on the HS Game Time Live pregame show from Miller High School as the Rebels take on Redlands. We'll step aside and let you check out the sights and sounds of some of the pregame warm-ups. We'll see you later tonight on HS Game Time.
Guys, get ready for touchdown number 1.